This is a video for students of We Are English Language School in preparation for the Cambridge English Advanced Level C1 in English. In today's video we're going to be focusing on part 2 of the Reading and Use of English section of the Certificate of Advanced English exam. But before we do that, we're going to have a look at the topic for today, which is money and finance, and we're going to have a look at an exercise which tells us the following. Complete each sentence with the correct form of come and the correct word from the box. So for this exercise you need to know what these expressions or phrasal verbs mean. So come across, come between, come down, come into, come off, come through, come under and come up. And you have to be careful about what tense you use or what form of the verb you use in each sentence. So is it going to be come, came, or coming? Here would be a good time to pause the video and have a look at the possible answers on your own. So see you in a couple of minutes. Okay, so let's go through the answers then. Number 1. The family came into a large amount of money when their grandmother passed away. So be careful here, it's came into in the past simple. So the figurative meaning of come into means to acquire or to inherit something. It's often related to a fortune or money. Number 2. The company has seen some tough times, but has always come through them. To come through something is to experience something usually negative, but you survive, you endure, it doesn't kill you. Get over it is another expression which means the same thing. Number 3. The minister has come under a lot of pressure to resign after the budget cuts. You often come under something negative. You can come under fire. You can come under attack. In this case, the minister has come under criticism. This means he is suffering criticism for a decision he has made, in this case for cutting the budgets. Number 4. The scheme will never come off. It's just not feasible. To come off means to be a success, for something to work in the way it was desired. Number 5. An opportunity to sell at this price may never come up again, so make the most of it. Come up in this context means to emerge, appear, or occur. Number 6. I came across a pile of old bank statements in the filing cabinets. To come across something means simply to find something, usually by accident or coincidence. Number 7. The business partners vowed that nothing would come between them and that the company would survive. When an issue or problem comes between two people, it divides them, it separates them. It's quite a simple one to understand, even though it is a figurative expression. And number 8. Inflation is coming down at last. The economy might recover soon. Again, I think this is quite a simple one to understand. When something comes down, it gets lower, it is reduced. So if inflation is coming down, it is reducing. It is becoming less. So there you go. That's exercise 1 finished. So exercise 2, a very simple exercise. It says, read each pair of sentences and cross out any sentence which is wrong. Both sentences may be correct. The important thing to point out here is what we are testing. We are testing phrasal verbs and we're seeing if they are separable or inseparable. So let's take number 1, sentences A and B as an example. A says, the government has put together a rescue plan to save the economy. B says, the government has put a rescue plan together to save the economy. So we have to decide whether the phrasal verb or expression put together can be separated and the object can be put in the middle, as in sentence B, put a rescue plan together. Or if it is inseparable and only A is correct, put together a rescue plan. Well, the answer in number 1 is that both sentences are correct. You can say put together a rescue plan or put a rescue plan together. What is also important to remember here is that if a phrasal verb is separable, it has to be separated if the object which it is acting on is a pronoun. So while it is acceptable to say put together a rescue plan or put a rescue plan together, you can only say put it together. You can't say put together it. So let's have a look at the sentences in number 2. It says, I had put money aside for a rainy day, so we used that. Or, I had put aside money for a rainy day, so we used that. Well, to put aside money or to put money aside means to save money, and both sentences are correct. Put aside is a separable expression. So, number 3, it's very difficult to live on my salary. It's very difficult to live my salary on. In this case, only the first sentence is correct. Live on is an inseparable phrasal verb. So, is there any way to know whether a phrasal verb is separable or inseparable before we use it? Well, it's quite complicated, but the answer is actually yes, we can. Take the sentences we've just looked at. In examples 1 and 2, we saw pure phrasal verbs because we had a verb with an adverb. We had put aside and put together. In both cases, they are transitive verbs that have a direct object. So you can put money in a place. You can put money aside for a rainy day. You can put a plan in some situation, in some way. You can put it together. You can put a plan together. However, you cannot live a salary. In number 3, we see the verb live. It needs a preposition with it. So in fact, many language experts actually call this a prepositional verb and not a phrasal verb, because in most circumstances, live is not a transitional verb with a direct object. Number 4, we've gone through some tough times, but things will start to pick up again. We've gone some tough times through, but things will start to pick up again. Here, only the first sentence is correct. Think about it. You can't go some tough times. It doesn't make sense. You can only go through some tough times. Go is very rarely a transitive verb. You go to school, or you go to work, or you go on holiday. Okay, so number 5. It took us 8 years to pay off the debt. It took us 8 years to pay the debt off. So let's think. Can you pay a debt? Yes, you can. Pay can be a normal transitive verb. It doesn't need a preposition. So off, in this case, is an adverb. This is a classical phrasal verb. You pay off a debt, it means that you finish paying all of the debt and it's cancelled. So in number 5, both sentences are correct. Pay off the debt or pay the debt off. Number 6, they are bringing down interest rates again. They are bringing interest rates down again. So again, let's think about those two sentences. Can you bring an interest rate somewhere? Can you bring something? Yes, of course you can. Bring is very often a transitive verb. It doesn't need a preposition. So down here works as an adverb. It tells us how we bring the interest rates. We bring them down, or we bring down the interest rates. Both sentences are correct. Okay then, so number 7. I'll pay you back as soon as I get paid. I'll pay back you as soon as I get paid. Now this one is a bit of a trick question because pay, yes, it can be a transitive verb. You pay a debt, like we said in number 5. And you can obviously have a direct object with the verb pay. The problem is here we are using a pronoun, you. If a phrasal verb is separable and you are using a pronoun as your object, then it has to go in the middle of that separable phrasal verb. So only the first sentence is correct. I'll pay you back, not I'll pay back you. Okay, the last one. The financial advisor warned that businesses should not rush the deal into. The financial advisor warned that businesses should not rush into the deal. So again, a very complicated one here to finish with. So rush obviously means to go very fast because you have little time. So yes, you could rush a deal. However, is that what we're saying here? Or are we talking about in which direction we are rushing, figuratively speaking? Well, yes, it's the latter. We are talking about rushing into the deal. There is a deal and they shouldn't rush into it. You cannot say rush the deal into in this sentence because they are not rushing the deal. They are rushing themselves into the deal. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too complicated. What we're going to have a look at now to finish is an example of part 2 of the reading and use of English of the advanced exam. What I'm going to ask you to do is pause the screen after we've looked at the example and have a look at the exercise. Take a few minutes to do it, take however long it takes you to do it, and then I'm going to go through the answers. I am going to show you my answers, by the way, so there is sometimes more than one possibility. So if you have any doubts about the answers or you think there's more than one option, you can leave a comment at the bottom of the video. So this is what part 2 of the reading and use of English part of the CAE exam looks like. And as you can see, they give you one example. So we have an article. We're all in this together. Have you or has someone you know come up with an original idea for a brilliant product, blah, 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 blah. So basically here you have to put a word in the gap and there are no options. So you have to guess the word. Well, you should make an educated guess, of course. So there you have the text. I think you can see it pretty well and take as long as you need. Bear in mind that this exercise shouldn't take you more than about 7 or 8 minutes. And I'll see you with the answers when you've finished. Okay, so we are all in this together. Have you or has someone you know come up with an original idea for a brilliant product or an original invention? But do you find yourself without sufficient cash to develop or promote it? Fear not. Help is at hand. You can crowdfund it. Crowdfunding is the practice of financing a project by raising money through contributions from individuals or groups of people with money to invest or the desire to do good. It has emerged as an accessible option for entrepreneurs and creatives around the world. Usually collected via online platforms, the sum generated allows them to both put their ideas to the test and gain exposure and funds for their product or invention. You might well wonder whether crowdfunding really is a modern-day practice. It would seem not. Although the term and its definition were only recently added to dictionaries throughout history, landmark expeditions, epic voyages, and even national monuments have been completed thanks to the donations of ordinary people. We've finished. Thank God.